Yo, Rafael.
What up, though?
Man, I've known you for several years now.
I know, right? I feel like you did know me for a lot longer than that.
So, one thing I don't know about is your first car.
My first car. Whew. First car that I was like free in, like actually had a little bit of freedom with. It was my mom's old Pontiac 6000. She had it was beat to shit too. Like it was pretty bad, but
I mean, you got to start out with the beater.
You got to start out with the beater. That's the only right way. I feel like if you ain't starting out with no beater, you ain't gonna appreciate your cars.
Exactly.
That's why I feel like, a lot of people that, a lot of these young kids, they be wrecking up these nice ass cars.
Yeah, like imagine giving your kid a fucking brand new Mustang at 16.
Yeah, and then they wrap it around the tree. Yeah. And they look at you like, well, it's just too fast. It's too fast. It's a damn Mustang. So, I just feel like, it just gives you some character, because I definitely did. When I got that Pontiac 6000, man, I thought that motherfucker was a Lamborghini. You couldn't tell me shit,
Compared to the Chevy legs.
Is that, yeah. I was, it just symbolized freedom. I didn't give a fuck if, certain shit didn't close or didn't roll down.
Bro, and that's the thing. With your first car, you're in a beater, a lot of shit don't work.
It don't work. And, yeah, that was my baby. Like, my mom had already got her car, so it was kind of unofficially my car. But yeah, I had some times in that car, man. I done ran out of gas. Fucking broke down on the side of the road multiple times. In those moments, I'd be like, man, fuck, I need to get another car. But, the minute it get fixed, I'm like, oh, I don't need another car.
I love my car.
I love my car.
That's my baby.
That's my baby. So hell yeah. Me and my cousins had to push. We had to push that motherfucker one time. On one of them little late night missions. It was me and two of my other cousins, and one of them had got some wind that it was some females, ready to play some games late at night.
Man, always getting in trouble for some females.
Oh, it's look, man. The reason that the cemetery and the jails are full because of a woman. I promise you. If you sit down and talk to some of them convicts, the root to why they in there is a female. I promise you. It's got to be a female, because ain't no man gonna irrationally act on things unless somebody dealing with a woman in his life that he care about. This is what it is. And but yeah, like we was out there in the middle of the night. Well, we was like 16, 17 ish around that in that ballpark. But yeah, we had no business being out late that night. We had a whole church convention to go to that next morning, so we definitely shouldn't have not been out like at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, dealing with females. But that's what
young boys do.
That's what young boys do, and we just we thought we was home free. We got there fine. Get ready to come back. We get like 2 blocks down the road, run out of gas.
Man.
And like, I'm just in my head, I'm like, all we need to do is just make it to a gas station.
Isn't it funny? It's not 2 miles away where it's like, okay, yeah, fuck. 2 blocks.
2 blocks.
You can see the end game right there.
You can see it. And pushing a car 2 blocks and driving a car 2 blocks, totally different.
Yeah.
When you get out, when we got out the car, we looked at it, like, man, it ain't that far. That was the first thing out of our mouth. But we had one little obstacle, and it was a fairly large hill, which worked it to our favor once we got to the top of the hill. But just seeing the look. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm pretty sure the look on my face when they looked at me and like, oh shit, I think we done ran out of gas. And it's in the middle of the night, in the woods ish, like one of those roads. Country. Yeah, back in the back, like it's just windy roads. It ain't nothing really, close until you get like into the outskirts of town. So, like, I'm kind of panicking, like, damn, are we going to be able to push this car far enough, after really getting behind it and like trying to like get it to move? Are we going to be able to push this motherfucker 2 blocks? Like, are we going to have to like try to rig it up to it crank enough to where we can drive it these 2 blocks? Like, this is just a whole bunch of stuff going through my head. And now, mind you, like I said, we pushing this car in the middle of the night trying to get it to the gas station. So we pushing it up this hill.
Uphill, man.
Uphill.
That's an uphill battle.
Uphill battle. Like, and like, I don't know if y'all know what a Pontiac 6000 is.
But it feels about 6,000 pounds.
Oh, yeah. It definitely that. But like at first glance, when you look at it, you like, man, this car can't weigh that much. Like, it looks like one of those, one of those old school Honda Accords that literally like a box, but it looked like a Matchbox car. That's what a Pontiac 6000 looked like. It looked just like that without the sunroof. So when you look at it, it's like, it ain't that heavy. Like you can rock this car. It ain't that heavy. I swear, that was, I don't know. My calf muscles was burning. When we got up that hill, it was burning. And like, my cousins was looking at me and they was like, man, oh, we almost there. We was like, we almost there. We get to the top of the hill. We not thinking like, hey, what now? Like, we need to get into the car.
Before you're happy that you're done pushing.
We just happy because we done pushing. Because like I said, it's in the middle of the night. We hear weird shit in the woods. I don't know what's gonna come out the woods, if it's a person, an animal, whatever. Like, it's like we can handle our own. It's the 3 of us, but it's in the middle of the night. Can't see shit. So we get in the car and we get at the top of the hill and like once you get it pushed, especially at the top of the hill, like it's gonna have a little bit of momentum. It's just gonna start just rolling naturally on its own. So like we get it to this hill and like we thinking like, whew, we on the hill.
You're done.
We're done. Over. No, it's starting to go down. That's why it kind of got a little easy. we like, oh shit. So we trying to get in the car.
Pushing. Yeah, everybody's out there pushing.
Everybody out there pushing. So we trying to hurry up and get back in the car so we can catch the coast downhill and shit. We almost ran into a ditch. Almost hit another car. Like I said, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. We've been out all night. Cousin told our uncle we didn't went to Walmart to go get some underwear and shirts for this trip this next morning. Like unbeknownst to me, So
did you find gas?
Oh, we found some gas. Yeah, we hit that hill and like literally like went downhill coasting, trying to like not hit shit. But I almost hit a car, almost ran into a ditch. But we pulled in the gas station like right at the pump. And like at this time, like remind you, like we left at night. Like, and we get to the gas station, we go in, pay for it. You know how like the sunlight works. It was dark when I went in the gas station, came out, and it was like almost damn early morning. Like the sun is out, like it's light outside. We like, oh my God, like we have been out all fucking night. Like,
yeah, you broke night.
Jesus Christ. And like we get back. And like I said, like my cousin had told our uncle that we went to Walmart to go get underwear and shirts. So we get back, like he's sitting up, chilling, and he looking at us like, what the fuck have y'all been? Like, what Walmart did y'all go to? Cause like in any direction, where we stay at the time, like, there's a Walmart in either direction, 15, 20 minutes tops, depending on traffic.
Yeah, I feel like no matter where you live in the country, you got a Walmart within 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, you got a Walmart. Maybe so like from what we left 11-ish that night. Well, yeah, that night, and then come back to like 8 hours, 7 hours later.
About the time you had to get up.
About the time we had to get up on a supposedly 20-minute drive to Walmart. So he looking at us crazy.
That's some side missions.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like when you get on the game,
yep.
Fuck the main mission. We gonna hit the side quest right quick, and then after we do that side quest, we might hit this side quest. That's how it felt like. And he looking at us like, he's like, man, I guess that Walmart was in Easley, and like it went over my head, because Easley is the next town over. And I was in my head, I'm like, why the fuck would we go to Easley to Walmart? And I'm like, oh, he trying to be funny.
He had jokes.
Yeah, he had jokes. He knew exactly what we was doing. I mean, this is a grown ass man. I'm pretty sure he didn't pull some missions Pretty sure he did the same damn thing.
Probably proud of you.
Oh yeah, he was definitely proud of. He was looking at us like, and he just walked back and went back in his room. I was like,
hey man, if he fist bumped you or something, he was proud of you.
Oh yeah. See, at the time, like, I mean, we were young men, but I feel like if it was like we was like a little older, maybe like in our 20s, we probably would have got that fist bump. But
probably wouldn't have ran out of gas either.
No, definitely wouldn't have ran out of gas. Definitely wouldn't have run out of gas. But it was one of those things, like, I'm pretty sure he's like, man, I'm proud of them boys, but he can't say that. Then at that point, he condoning us doing bullshit.
I mean, when those responsible figures in your life, they grin at you like,
yeah.
You
know what's up.
They're proud of you. They just don't want to boost you up.
Oh yeah. Because they know you'll crash out then. They're like, yeah, I'm invincible.
Bro, my first car actually didn't end up being my first car. It was for a little bit. I always wanted a Mustang. My mom had a old classic Mustang. It was rough.
Well, what kind of Mustang first?
So I wanted any kind of Mustang. I just didn't want to catch the bus anymore. But my mom had a 68 Mustang. It was rough shape. Didn't really run well. Had a lot of rust and all that stuff. Real fixer-upper. But so I saved up money and wanted the Mustang that was fast. And the only thing in my budget was for a Fox body. So my dad had found out about a guy that was selling a Fox body Mustang. He was like a lawyer or something like that and lived at an apartment building. He knew the property manager, and she had told him, hey, I know your son likes Mustangs. This guy has this Mustang on the property. He don't drive no more. It doesn't run. He needs to get it out of here. He's probably willing to cut a deal.
Yeah, just to get it going. Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I'm fresh out of auto mechanic class. I'm like, I could probably get this thing running. Let me go check it out. So I went up there with one of my buddies and popped the hood on that thing, brought a fresh battery, and started messing with it. Of course, hit the key, it didn't crank. Well, it turned over, but it didn't fire. I'm like, okay, well, the block isn't seized up. That's good. The oil, looked pretty good. But I started messing with stuff. I noticed he had an MSD box on there. Okay, he's got something on there. He's got long tube headers. There's a few tasteful mods on there, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And so I started playing with the harnesses and stuff. And I connected something, disconnected something. But eventually, messing with the wires, I was able to get it to start. And as soon as I heard it fire, I cut that bitch off immediately. I was like, hold on, I don't want him to know necessarily, this car's running. Because he might be like, you know what, now that there's a running car.
Exactly. You're going to hit the price. Yeah. You're definitely going to gouge you on that price.
So I shut the hood, went up to the guy's place. I was like, hey, so this car is going to take a lot of work. What do you want for it? And the guy was like, hey, I'll take $1,200 for it. Okay. I got $1,200.
You goddamn right, I got $1,200.
Yeah, Fox body Mustang. And this was probably like in the late 2000s. So, I mean, they went for some money, but not like the money to go for now.
No.
Boy, they go for like 10, 12, 20 grand in okay condition.
Yeah.
And so we had a deal, signed the title and all that stuff. Luckily, a neighbor across the street, he had like free towing, like roadside assistance or whatever. He gets 3 free tows a year. Yeah. So obviously the car wasn't drivable. At least
that's what
wasn't going to make it seem like it was drivable. So got it towed back to the house. First thing I did is I put fresh spark plugs on it, fresh cables, cap and rotor, all that stuff, changed the oil. Then I ran it. And as soon as I heard that thing cut on, man, I was happy.
Yeah.
Then I drove it down the street. Still didn't have a registration, insurance, none of this stuff. But I drove it down the street to my friend's house.
You gotta say like, hey man, what I got?
I got this Rolling Thunder here.
Yeah.
And drove it, parked it, feeling really good about myself. And then they came out to take a look at it. The car cooled down a little bit, and I went to turn it on to drive away. And it was running funny. I was like, what the fuck? It was running like it was before I did the tune-up on it. That's funny. And then I drove it back to the house, parked it, and pulled the spark plugs. They're wet. That's weird. And long story short, I found out I had a blown head gasket.
That's what I was going to say. That's a blown head gasket.
Blown head gasket, yep. So sitting here thinking I had a good deal on that car. Yeah. Really, that guy sold a piece of shit.
Yeah. And he probably knew it was a blown head. That's why he probably started driving it.
Yep. And there's more things as I started looking at the car. I noticed on the intake filter in front of the throttle body, there's a hole in the bottom of it that was covered with duct tape. little patch of duct tape on it so I couldn't see the hole.
So he was just patching that motherfucker.
He was running nitrous on that thing. Yeah. I ended up finding a switch underneath the dash anyway. So he had nitrous in that thing and blew the motor is what it was. And he just parked it. That's why he had the MSC ignition on there, so he can burn the nitrous better.
Damn. I missed that when you told me. I forgot that you,
So my dumb ass.
He definitely was running nitrous.
I saw the MSD box. Okay, cool. Long tube headers. Cool, you know. I thought I got a deal. Bro, I got fucking ripped off.
Did you end up like getting rid of it or?
So I ended up keeping the car. The plan was to build it into a race car. I bought a crate motor, bought a bunch of other stuff. Never ended up going into it. Met somebody, got engaged, sold everything. But before that all happened, not long after buying the car, it would run, but for short distances, right? Until it got hot, you know, with the head gasket.
Yeah.
But there was a hurricane coming, and, you know, mind you, this is Florida, South Florida. My grandfather had a little storage building, and he had a spot I could park it. And I'm like, okay, well, this car's already got a blown motor. Let me not fuck up the body with the tree falling on it, right?
Yes.
So his storage building's only like 6 or 7 blocks away. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to drive it over there. I'm not going to tow it. I didn't have the money to tow it.
Yeah.
So still not registered, still not insured. Fuck it, right?
Yeah.
Driving on a learner's license on top of that. Yeah, that's another story. So, you know, I get it out to the road. My brother decides to hop in with me. I'm like, why the fuck's my brother with me? He never wants to ride in the Mustang or ride with me or anything like that. So he's riding shotgun with me. We get to the first intersection. And, you know, mind you, the car's been parked for a couple weeks or whatever. So get up to the first stop sign. Cool. Go down that first street, you know, just kind of cruising, whatever, not trying to get in trouble. But, you know, like your story, some girls were involved. You do stupid things when girls are involved, especially when you're young.
Yeah, man. God.
So when I got to that second stop sign, I saw that there was a girl that lived down that road. She was outside. I was like, "Ooh, boy, let me show off."
I bet you get on the gas.
Man, that thing sounded so great. Boy, and it was a 5-speed transmission too. So first gear, got on it. Second gear, got on it. Third gear. Like, I'm over halfway down the block. I'm probably looking cool as fuck. At least in my mind, I'm thinking, man, I look like a rock star. And then now I'm sitting here thinking, like, I saw her. She looked. I'm like, oh, she saw me driving. Cool. And now I'm thinking about braking. I'm like, okay, wait, the stop sign's coming up real fast. I'm going like 60 miles an hour at this point in like a city block.
That's why I was like, well, you talking about you going through residential areas.
Yeah.
And like, you going 60?
Like I said, you do stupid things when there's a cute girl involved, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking, okay, I got to stop before the stop sign. So I'm like slamming on the brakes, and I didn't really test the brakes because the first, you know, block and other block was, you know, short distance. I was cruising. You know, those Mustangs have disc brakes in the front. They got drums in the back.
Yes.
Drums aren't really good in the first place.
I fucking hate drums.
But, you know, when you let a car sit,
they
the rotors, they rust. Yeah, so the brakes weren't breaking. At least not good. So, like, I'm trying to...
I bet, like, when you was hitting on the brake, it was like... I bet it was like...
Bro, there was, like, no brakes. Like, I can kind of feel them working a little bit. But, boy, I blew through that intersection. Like, I'm trying to, like, downshift and do what I can to stop. And I'm like, oh, shit. My brother's over here, like, grabbing onto the handle, looking for the oh, shit button on the dash. And I'm sitting here thinking in a split second, I went from being, like, the coolest guy in the block, showing off for this girl, loud, cool Mustang, to blowing this intersection. I don't know how the fuck. Like, I hit a right turn, and then I'm on the side of oncoming traffic. There's, like, 2 lanes here, 2 lanes there. And this is Miami Avenue. This is a very busy intersection.
Oh shit! Yeah, you in South Miami,
like, and like miraculously we didn't die. There was no vehicles going down this way. When I got into opposite traffic, there was no vehicles. There was vehicles down the way, but I was back in my lane long before they got up to me. But I could have been killed. I could have killed my brother.
Oh my god!
All that for showing off. And you know, the only other time I drove this car was to my friend's house, so I'm not even experiencing this car. But the kind of shit you do to show off for a girl.
Told you. Cemetery and jail. You almost ended up in the cemetery with some female. I told you. I told you. Yep. Yeah, that's why I can't do it. I ain't showing off.
But that ended up not being my first car, really, because, I mean, that car never ended up running.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. You was more or less still in the fixing stage, and there's just other things going on that I feel you on that.
But I ended up with another Mustang. So about a year later, after catching the bus to work and saving money.
Mm-hmm.
There was another Fox body Mustang, a guy was selling a few blocks away. This one was in rough condition, but it ran and drive. He was asking $600. He's asking $900. I offered him $600. He took it. But we went on a test drive.
Was it?
Huh?
It wasn't stolen.
No. I mean, I felt like I stole it for $600.
That's what I'm saying. Like 900 is crazy.
Yeah.
And then you talked him down to 600. I was like, man, that dude's trying to get rid of that car. Like, what's wrong with it?
It needed some work, so fifth gear didn't work. You know, it grind. It do that little grind when you put it in reverse. You got to throw it to first and then put it in reverse.
Yeah.
So the transmission needed to be replaced. You know, I had a fucking the handle for the window was busted, so I had a fucking channel lock on there to open and close the window.
Why is that always a go-to? Because I had it in my 1990 Lincoln one. Because the idiot that had it, I guess the actuator went out on it.
Yeah.
And instead of just getting another regulator and and fixing it, he took everything out and made it manual. So he had manual on this door and electric on the other ones.
I mean, when you're on a budget, cheaper is easier.
Yeah, but like that, I'm assuming that the handle broke off and he had channel locks on it. So that's why when you said that, I was like, why is that always the go-to?
Yeah, you know, the worst part about it, like the channel lock is flush to the panel, so you can't even like grab it and crank it. You're like, you gotta like kind of like with your finger.
Rotary.
Yeah, like on an old fucking phone. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Fucking yeah.
You're like pushing it, then your finger slips off. You gotta grip it again.
Yes. That's like, why in the fuck? I don't know why motherfuckers always. That's what they want to do. Channel locks.
And then that other car, people thought it was haunted because the window wipers were kind of crazy. So like, when they were plugged in, like every 5 minutes or so, just go ramp. So I'd have to unplug it when it wasn't raining. So if it was raining and I had to go to my car to pop my hood, hook it up, and then I can use them. I had 3 speeds on it at that point.
Tony, I think we might have had the same car in different past lives.
Maybe. Because
the Honda that I was telling you about earlier, I had like a little hatchback Honda. Well, it wasn't a hatchback. It was a box Honda. It was like a 94, 93. And it was, the body and everything was shit. But I bought the car from my homeboy because it had the cleanest, best motor in it. Like it was like one of those.
Had good guts.
Like if I was to, if I wanted to race and I just pulled up, motherfucker be like, oh, this motherfucker's about to get smoked. Like, it's a sleeper car.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was nice and it was fast. And that was the only reason I got it from him. But I threw a flip-up screen in there, and it was 215 Saturn Vegas. The system in that car was worth well more than the car. But it's funny because I had so much power running through there. When I went to clubs or I went out to places, I would have to open my hood and take out the power fuse so it didn't, or take off the negative wire off the battery so it didn't drain my car while I was, when you said that, when you opened your hood, I was like, damn, I remember that shit. That's mad crazy.
Dude, I mean, first cars are like that.
They are.
You learn appreciation when you finally get into something nice.
Damn right.
Like, hold up. This all works?
This all works. I think I didn't have a car that cruise control worked until I got my Chevy, the Suburban. The only car, and then when I actually learned how it worked, I was like, oh shit, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But that was the first car I had where the cruise control actually worked.
I didn't even get in the cruise control until I moved out of Miami. Because you can't cruise nowhere in Miami. There's so much fucking traffic.
Miami, hell no. Yeah.
Well, the cars I had didn't even have AC. Yeah. So every car I had up until I got a 2001 Mustang, I had an 87 Mustang. I had a 95 Mustang. They didn't have AC. So every day in the summer, by the time I get to work, my back would just be dripping wet. So.
You different. Yeah, you was in Miami with no AC.
I could probably sell the Mustang and get something with AC, but would I like that car? I like the way the Mustang sounds. Yeah. I like having a manual transmission. like being able to do donuts. So that's another thing I did. I went through a lot of back tires, and you have to rotate them. So the back tires became the front tires, and front tires became the back tires, and then eventually I had no tires. Yeah, crazy how that works.
Yeah.
But I kind of became known on my block as the Mustang kid or whatever. I had a couple Mustangs, and one of the traditions that started up, I don't even know how it started, but had a lot of people down on the corner of the block. They saw me coming. If I was coming through, like, hey, do a donut or, burn the tires. So most of the time when I'd come home from work, I'd come from the east side of the block. And if I saw them down there, I'd drive past my house, go down there. They'd see me. They already know. Be doing a donut. Then I'd come back and park. Or if I was coming down from the other side, if I was coming from the west side, coming from a friend's house or whatever, they saw me there. It wasn't a donut. It was just a burnout.
Hey, man, we was doing donuts in the parking lot.
In the Jeep? Yeah.
We was in the Jeep.
Snow day.
Yeah, it was a snow day.
The funny part about snow, the first time I drove in snow, I had my 2013 Mustang, and I was still working over at the Haywood Mall. And, there's different parts of the parking garage. There's like the multi-level, and then there's the other part where it's just like 2 levels by the JCPenney's.
Oh, yeah.
So that part gets covered in snow when it snows. And I hadn't been in town for maybe a year, and it started snowing. I'm like, well, I'm going to figure out the snow shit today. Manual transmission, 400 horsepower car. I'm like, it'll be all right. And I'm glad I tested it in that safe condition because as soon as I got out there, I hit first gear to second gear, and I just drove it like I would on a regular day. And then I was turning a little bit as I did it. Man, if I didn't have that car whip around, I was like, oh, shit. Is this going to be my drives all the way home?
Yeah.
So I just drove like a little bitch the whole way. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be cruising. Driving like this.
Yeah. 10 miles, 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, didn't get out of third gear, honestly, and I was going maybe max 25. So, but yeah, so even before I got into the Mustang with AC, that other Mustang, the 87, the second one I bought for $600, there was a lot of shit wrong with that car. I mean, I caught the bus almost as much as I drove that thing. As parts started failing on it.
That's crazy. You buy something so you can solve one problem, and then you have it, and you still got
the bigger problem was the financial part of it.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was working at a mall closer, so I didn't even need fifth gear because
probably never got.
Yeah, I never really got block to block in Miami traffic. But then I moved over to Aventura Mall, working out there, and now I needed highway. So I'm like, oh shit! So I'm just riding fourth gear, kind of cruising at like 50, 60. Then I had that other Mustang that had the blown engine, so I'm like, fuck it, let me get this transmission out of this one and put it in the other one.
Swap it.
Yep. So I paid a backyard mechanic to do that for me, and he did. So now I had a transmission that was good. I'm going to Aventura Mall, driving the 40, 50 minutes each way. And then one day, I was backing out of a parking spot trying to go home, and I'm like, damn, my brake pedal's going down. What the fuck is this? So I get out and I look, and the master the wheel cylinder in the back. Yeah. So like apparently it ruptured and it was leaking. I'm like, oh shit. So I had no brake pedal. Like if you pumped it 3 times, you had enough where it would slow a little bit. So I was contemplating my decision. Do I hire a tow truck and pay like $50 to $100 to get this thing home, or do I drive? I'm sitting here thinking, damn, I got to buy a wheel cylinder for this one. I got to do the other side too.
Yeah. On top of the toe.
Brake fluid. I'm driving this bitch.
Driving this motherfucker.
And highway. Sitting here thinking, okay, well, I can take the streets, but then that's a lot of stop and go. I'll probably run out of brake fluid all the way down. Dude, I got on the highway. And the crazy part is, like, when I got up to...
brave.
Brave or stupid. Maybe somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But I realized, driving the few blocks to get from, like, the mall to Ivesbury Road to the highway, I'm like, okay, well, if I downshift, ride the gears down, I got my e-brake, because that's not off hydraulic, that's off of, like, a cable. So you get a little bit of brake from that, from the back wheels. Because now the fronts aren't really pumping because you're losing your pressure from the back. Yeah. So I realized if I pump 3 times, it does slow down a little bit. That downshift and e-brake, okay, I got this. So as long as I'm not, like, on the highway going, like, 60, 70 and have to stop fast, I'm good.
You're good.
So there again, a manual transmission comes in handy when you're in those situations because if it's automatic, now you're just coasting.
Exactly.
So, but on the highway, there wasn't a whole lot of traffic. So, I mean, I was going 50, 60, maybe 70 most of the time. And then when I had to slow down, I could just drop a gear and pull the e-brake up. So somehow, some way, I managed to get back home without wrecking the car with little to no brakes. Would I do that now? Fuck no.
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Capital PH on that fuck.
Yeah. like at this point, like I'll try some questionable stuff with my car, but when it comes to like weather condition shit, nah, they can have it. I'm not chancing no ice. I'm not chancing like even when that whole shit happened when we lost power here. Like I didn't want to go out in that shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you got out. Well, I don't think you did for
the recent storm.
Mm-hmm. When they had all the trees and stuff.
I mean, I just went off road.
Oh yeah, you got the.
Yeah.
Because I was getting ready to say when I come down, it's that well, it's not a little road, but it's a winding road, and it's just trees and stuff everywhere. I'm like, how did these people like deal with this? Like, because I'm pretty sure every fucking tree that was on the side was in the road. Like, it had to be.
Yeah. So I have two ways of coming in and out. So I went out this way, and there's trees down every fucking where. There's already people from the country out there with chainsaws cutting stuff, which was good. And I tried to come back around the other way by Ingalls, probably the way you come over here. And I couldn't go down my regular road because it was blocked all the way. There's trees like dominoes just stacked. I found another shortcut around that wasn't blocked, and then I had to go off road to get around a tree.
Yeah, I don't mess with the weather. That's why I try not to anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So that's some of my first experiences with the old cars. But I mean, I blew a head gasket once after having a, not the one that already had a blown head gasket, but one that I was driving. It was Halloween night. I was coming back from work, and I was just going to a stoplight. I'm like, damn, this thing's running kind of funny. And I started having flashbacks.
You can smell it too.
Yes,
it'll start. It's like a sweet smell, a sweet like metal smell.
Yes,
and it'll come straight through the vents. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah, you know exactly what it is.
You know exactly what it is.
So I knew I had a blown head gasket, and luckily it was highway. So highway, it wasn't overheating because I just threw it in fifth gear and I was riding at low RPM. But then I just parked it. I'm like, fuck it. I'll be catching the bus, and I caught the bus all the way through Christmas, extended hours, coming home at like midnight on the bus.
Oh shit! And the bus still. I mean, I guess they run 24/7. Yeah, you in Miami. I keep.
There is a cutoff, but I made the cutoff. But it's like, damn, it took me like 2 months to rip apart that motor, pulling the heads off, changing the gaskets, all that stuff. But.
How about the only car that I tore down like that was my Impala. I had an 85 Impala. And I bought it. When I bought it, it was in worse condition. It didn't have anything. It didn't have no motor. It didn't have a front hood. It didn't have a back passenger door.
Damn.
Like it didn't have anything. I always wanted an Impala, and I wanted an 85. It was my birth year. I was like, I just fix it up.
Yeah.
And when I first got it, I found a motor. It was a 350. I found the motor and I got put in it. And then like a month later, over a course of a month, I found the door here, the trunk here. And I ain't gonna lie, it looked like patchwork.
I was gonna say it's a Frankenstein.
Yeah, it was definitely Frankenstein.
A couple different tones going on.
But it was clean.
Yes.
Like it was like the rest of the car was blue. Nice blue. Like it didn't have anything wrong with it. And then when I got the hood put on there, it was like white, but it was clean white. So it was like each part of the car was a different color, but it was fresh.
Dude, you're one paint job away from a very slick ride.
Yes. And I like just like how you was talking about, like I Frankensteined the shit out of that car. And then when I finally got it working, it broke my heart because I had to sell it.
Damn.
Yeah. Because I was dating Claire at the time, and she had some shit going on, And it was just like unexpected. And like she was stressing out, and I was like, I can get the money if I sell this car. And I thought about it for like 2 or 3 days. And it was a guy, the same guy I bought the Honda from. I was at his house. I had drove it out there, and I guess the dude, like, either he collected old Chevys like for parts and stuff, or it was something that he did with them. Like he just had a shit ton of them, and I guess he was just taking parts and stuff. And he begged me like for the rest of that week, like, man, I'll pay you. I'll pay you for it. Like I really want that car. And I'm assuming that it was something in that car. It was a part in that car that either it was hard to find or he just really needed it. And he was like, man, I'll pay you. And I sold that car for $1,700.
Damn.
And I literally gave it all.
Damn. You're a good man.
Yeah.
You're a good man.
Oh yeah. That shit broke my heart. The only thing I got left of that car, and he was cool when he said, man, I understand. The decals that say Impala that was on the, I took them off, and then he let me keep my keychain, the Chevy bow tie. That's the only thing I got left of that car.
Man, you still have it?
Oh yeah.
Make it into like a little plaque and put it on the wall, man.
Yeah, it's about that time, because like I know I'll never find.
So
I'll never find that car again.
I did something like that for a friend of mine. My friend John, he had this Toyota. It was a little like boxy, but his car, I didn't even know it. I was at the junkyard, I think, with my friend Steve. And we're just like walking. I'm looking for Mustang parts. He's looking for parts for his car. And we come across this car. I'm like, yo, isn't that John's car? Damn, that is John's car.
That's crazy.
At first, we laughed like, damn, what's it doing here?
Yeah.
And then we ended up pulling off the emblems of the car. And I started thinking something a little more wholesome. Like, okay, let me see if I can like get him something from this car. Because he loved that car.
Yeah.
So I ended up pulling off, I guess, the Toyota emblem on it, and I think something else. I can't remember what it was. And then I brought it back to the house. Then I remember we had a picture of the car from auto shop class where he was working on it. So I printed out that picture, and it was a 1.8 liter engine, and I just put something on there to troll him a little bit. 1.8 miles per hour, top speed or something. 1.8 RPMs. And it was half to troll him and half to do something nice. Yeah. And then when I gave it to him, boy, like,
I bet
he's not somebody to get caught up in his feelings.
Yeah.
But you could tell he liked it. But speaking of that guy, John, man, this guy, he's a driver. Like, I drive cars.
Mm-hmm.
I drive fast. I've done some stupid shit. Stuff that it kind of impressed me a little. Like, oh shit, I did that. Cool.
I didn't kill myself.
But exactly. But this guy, man, like, if I needed, like, getaway driver, like, if I became a bank robber, he's the wheel man. Like, this guy, he was a Toyota guy, but you put him in anything, he'll drive the wheels off of it. He'll get 100% out of that car. And you know why I know that? Because one day I let him drive my Mustang.
He probably went in on it.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah, you went in on that.
Damn. I'm like, he had that car doing shit I couldn't do it. I was like, this motherfucker's a wheelman for real.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, like, my craziest stories in the car come from riding with him as a passenger. One thing, it's not too extreme, but you know how you have like those long stretches of highway? This was like Okeechobee Road. We were heading out to like the hangout where everybody parks before they do their street racing. And the stretch of highway we were on was 3 lanes, and it merges down to 2, right? We're in the far right lane that's merging down. And I'm just sitting there. He's got the music going. We're chilling. And I see this lane ending up ahead, and there's a pickup truck, a big Dodge Ram, in the center lane, and it's ahead of us. And as you're just cruising around as a passenger, you're like predicting stuff that the driver's going to do or whatever. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, he's about to, slow down and get behind this truck. Because we're running out of room very quickly. Yeah. That's not what he did.
Probably gunned it.
Man, I'm telling you, like as if this car was a fucking rocket. He gunned it, and I'm like, I guess he's gonna get ahead of this. Like he's gonna jump the curb. Like I see this curb. Like I don't know how the fuck he got ahead of this truck. Like he's going. I thought we were gonna eat the curb, and then he cuts over last second, right like mere feet before we get to this curb. And it's not just like a painted line. This is a fucking
curb.
Like yeah. I don't know how the fuck he did it. And then I'm like counting my Lucky Charms. I'm like, dude, you almost fucking killed us. Nah, man, we're good. We're good. And then we get to a red light about a mile down the road, and we're in the far left lane now, and I'm like catching my breath, and he's like laughing because he probably did that on purpose just to scare me. He didn't have to do it. He could have just hit his brakes, but not John. And what I didn't think about was, this truck's still behind us, and this guy's pissed.
Oh yeah, he pissed.
Yeah, because we probably, in his perspective, up in a truck, you see this little ass car cutting in last minute. He probably slammed on the brakes. Yeah. I don't know. He must have for us not to wreck. So now that he's pulling up, I'm looking at John. Like, is he looking? Is he looking? John looks over. He's like, yeah, he's looking. I look, dude. Like, this guy's like parked like really close to us, and he's like leaning like on the inside of the window. And if his head didn't fill up most of the window, this guy was fucking huge. He almost looked like The Rock. Like, big ass dude. And, he's got his arm.
Piss off the right.
Dude, we pissed off so many people. There was one time we're on the highway. I was with my friend John, my other Dominican friend Eduardo, and there was these guys in a pickup truck that just looked at my friend the wrong way. I wasn't even looking. I don't know if they glanced or whatever. My friend was like, "What?" Started boosting it up. And then, long story short, we ended up, both cars pulled over on the side of the highway. My friends were about to jump out and go fight them. And then they were sitting there, like, standing outside their truck with, like, one had, like, a police stick. The other one had, like, a taser. I'm sitting here in the backseat, like, okay. But they ended up getting back in the truck. We got back in the car. Everybody drove off. It was done. Until we went to the junkyard, about 6 months later, me and Eduardo, which we called him New York because he was from New York, we get to the junkyard looking for parts again because that's what we did. We didn't have money for new parts. And then we saw one of those guys. And my friend walked up to him. He's like, "Hey, man, you remember me?" The guy, you could tell.
Oh, yeah, he
like his soul like exited his face and his body. You could tell he remembered. He said, "Nah, bro, who are you?" He's like, "You don't remember us from the highway?" So he said, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "Oh, yeah, now that you're not there with your boys and your stun gun and all that stuff, now you're not nobody, huh?" And he was about to knock him out right there in the junkyard.
I would have.
Yep. But dude backed down and just acted like he just knew nothing.
Bitch.
Avoided the fight.
I can't stand people that don't like to bring their energy. I want, look, man, if you're a badass around your boys, you need to be a badass by yourself. Like, that's just how I look at it.
Well, he wasn't ready for it. But, going back to John, man, like, probably the first adventure I had with him, we were still in school, and I didn't know him too well. Mm-hmm. It's like my first year of knowing him. You know how, like, when you know somebody, but you don't know them?
Oh, yeah.
So we had to go into automotive collision class on a Saturday morning. Teacher wanted us to come in there. He said, "Hey, we'll do a barbecue, but we'll come in and clean up the classroom, right? Just put everything away, do a good, sweep in and everything." So I was about to sleep through the morning. I was like, fuck it. I didn't want to go. My friend John pulls up to the house, knocking on my window. Like, "Hey, you ready?" I'm like, "Oh, shit, I forgot all about this."
You already had it in your mind.
And I'm like, "Damn, okay, well, he's here, so I guess I'm going."
Yeah.
So I said, "Hey, give me like 5 minutes to get my shit together. And get up, brush my teeth, change my clothes or whatever." And by then, he's already backed his car into the driveway. It's the same one that was in the junkyard, a few years later.
Yeah.
And so he's backed into the driveway, front yard. And so I get in the passenger side, and there's a tree in front of the house by the sidewalk, and there's a car coming, right? So as soon as I get in the car, this car's coming. It's to about where that tree is. Here's the driveway, trees right here, cars right here. And this guy let out the fucking clutch, and who was going? I'm like, we're going to fucking collide with this car. And again, I don't know how he did it, but he got out and around that car without hitting it. Like, how the fuck did he do that?
He the wheelman. Like, hey, the wheelman, he like the cameraman. Wheelman don't die.
No. Got one more time, I thought I was going to die. This time I had a good feeling. The other times, I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to die.
So you had a good feeling that you was going to die this time.
Yeah, because, those other times, it was just like a very impulsive thing. Yeah, right. It's like, I'm just in it. I'm like, okay, But he had a Toyota MK3 at the time, older version of the Supra, actually. MK3 Supra, and he comes up to my house. The idea is I'm going to go to his house. We're going to work on the car or whatever. So he picks me up in this car, and those cars made a lot of torque. And if I remember correctly, it was the subframe that was wrong with the car. So he picked me up, didn't tell me what we were working on, just we're going to work on the car. So we get in the car, we're driving down the road, we get to the first stop sign, and like, as he gets off the gas, I hear it, like, looking like, what the fuck is that? Your car braking? He said, yeah, it's the subframe. You know, it's disconnected from the body from all the torque. It broke off. So I'm sitting here thinking some of the suspension parts of the car that's holding the rear end in place is broken. And we're driving on this. Like, every time he gets on the gas, I can feel it like go
separating.
one way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when he gets off the gas, it goes back the other way. Ooh. So it's like clink, clonk, but louder.
It's almost like a trailer coming off of the hitch, but the chain is still holding on to it. And every time you stop, it's just bumping right because it's really free balling.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, this thing can break off. You know, if it breaks off,
we fucked.
We're fucked. We're spinning out. We're going sideways. We're, flip. Who knows what the fuck's going on, right? And I'm thinking, okay, well, we're just going to cruise to his house. He's going to limp it home.
I bet. Oh, my God.
Dude, we're going up 2nd Avenue, and, like, he's driving, like, regular speed. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, John, he's never led me astray.
Yeah.
He's never put me in harm's way, but he's never actually got me harmed at this point, right?
He sound like my cousin. Like, me and my cousin will get into some shit, but we'll never put each other in no shit we can't get each other out of.
Exactly.
So I feel you on that.
So I felt pretty good, even though like I thought at any point we're gonna crash, right?
Oh yeah.
So we're going up 2nd Avenue, cool. Then we get to 36th Street, which is at the time I think there might have still been just one lane on each side. Maybe there was two. I can't remember. So at this moment, there's more traffic on 36th Street, and there's a lot of oncoming cars going higher speeds.
Mm-hmm.
So what's he do? He's not driving like regular. He's slamming through the gears. Whoop! Whoop! Like every time he shifts, like this thing is like slamming in the car. Like I feel like we're getting like you're driving like bumper cars or go-karts or something. Somebody's like colliding into you. That's what it felt like. It felt like something was hitting the car. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, we're seconds from disaster. And I see like this big fucking moving truck coming in the other direction. I'm like, if we spin out and hit this thing, that's game over. Yeah. This car is disintegrated. And he's just going through all these gears. We clear that truck. I'm like, okay, cool. And then we finally get to a red light, and I'm like, I'm trying to be cool. Like on the inside.
You don't want to spaz.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like a little bitch.
Yeah.
So like, I'm grabbing that door handle with my kung fu grip, right? I'm not trying to let the rest of my body show that I'm tense, but I'm tense as fuck.
Yeah.
But somehow we make it, and we get back to his house. I don't really say much to him about it. Like, yo, bro, like, what the fuck were you doing? I'm just like, like, I guess like astronauts, when they come back to Earth, they probably kiss the ground. Like, I made it successfully, or if somebody's like in an almost plane crash, you're happy to see ground. So the second I put my foot out the door, like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, you weren't even worried about the journey. You was like, man, I'm just glad I'm here.
I'm just happy to be at the destination.
I'm glad to be here. I don't none of that, no more of this extra shit that I got going on with this dude in this car.
Dude,
that's crazy. Like, like that it could have been, that's disaster at any second.
But you know what? The guy's a driver.
Yeah.
I tell you, like, I put
that's
all my faith in him. That's
probably why you just like, hey, you know what he's doing. He didn't been here before.
Yeah, I mean, he did have one instance where he hit a corner too fast and he ended up going through somebody's driveway. Maybe we'll get him on the show one day and talk about it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Get his point of view. But you know what? He did hit a jet ski on the highway once. Yeah, so he told me he was just driving around one day and hit a jet ski. There's more context, and we'll save that for a future show.
Yeah.
But one other thing on the topic of like cars and first cars and all that stuff, like this is what happened to me. I don't know if it happened to you, but as soon as I got a car, everybody wanted to be my friend. Like everybody wanted to ride.
Motherfuckers that didn't want to let me ride when I didn't have that motherfucker.
Exactly.
Shit.
Like all of a sudden, hey, what's up, man? Hey, can you take me somewhere right quick?
They know your name. Yeah. They know where you was coming from before they man. Trust me, motherfuckers want to be your friend and shit. Yeah. I mean, speaking of that, when I got my first car, I remembered all of it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, motherfucker, I had to go to work. Yeah, you didn't. Yeah,
you didn't take me.
You didn't take me. Or I had to actually go make a trip somewhere to handle some business, and you gave me this fucking speech about responsibility.
Responsibility.
When you ask me about getting in my car, I'm like, hey man, where your shit at? Why you not responsible enough to take your own damn put on yourself somewhere, man?
Yeah, like you got your car right there. What car? The Chevy Lakes.
The Chevy Lakes.
You know, I told so many people, like, look, the bus worked fine for me. It works fine for you too.
Damn right.
Unless you got gas money, boy.
I ain't above none of that.
Yep.
I will walk, get on the bus, ride a bike. I don't care. If it's moving, it's gonna get me somewhere, I'm taking it.
Yep.
Especially if it's my only choice. I ain't gonna sit there and bitch about it. When I sit there and bitch about it, I couldn't have made it to my destination.
Yeah. And you know what? God forbid you have a truck. You got a truck. You know, the original 2 guys in a truck.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dude that had a truck and his friend was asking for help.
Yes.
That's where that came from.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's exactly where that came from.
And it's like, you know, you're not just hauling the stuff at that point. You're also loading it. You're unloading it. And you know what? It's cool. Like, if it's your friend and, like, they're your friend.
Yes.
But if it's that friend you hadn't heard from in 6 months
and they just needing up, nah.
Yeah. Like, bro, where were you for, like, my daughter's, you know, birthday? You know, you didn't come by. You were invited.
Or when I was in the hospital at the time with, you know, shit coming at me. Tubes and shit. Where the fuck was you at?
Yeah. But now you want me to haul your shit. You need to haul ass. That's what you need to
haul ass out of here quickly.